What's up, nerds? Welcome to this special late breaking review of the third episode of Disney Plus Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Jerry and I just finished watching it. Jerry, what did you think?
I thought it was great. I think probably one of the better of the three.
Yeah, definitely. All the threads are starting to sort of come together. Uh, you know, I, let's kind of recap the episode first. How run it down from top to bottom, and then we'll kind of talk about some of our takeaways and so on. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Right on, brother. So we start off with John Walker, aka the new Captain America, and his sidekick Lamar Hoskins, aka Battlestar, breaking down the door, going into the cafe where the Flag Smashers were hiding out. Very like kind of police state, military police sort of feel to it. Couple things in that scene that really differentiate Walker from Steve Rogers. But we'll get back to that. We cut to Bucky and Sam. As we stated earlier in our preview video, they were going to find Zemo, and find him they did. How did their interaction in the prison go, Jerry?
I mean, they had a plan and they executed it. I thought that it was pretty ingenious, especially with the Bucky letting him out, knowing that Sam wouldn't do it. I thought that was a cool idea.
Right, I liked the way that they played that out actually on screen, where it seemed like Bucky was just telling Sam the plan, but in reality, we were watching the plan happen.
If you think about it, it's very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy, where Rocket is explaining how they're going to break out of the prison also.
That's true. There keeps being these parallels that connect Rocket to Bucky.
Yeah.
And I really like it. I don't know if it's going to ever come to fruition that they're going to meet back up and work together again, but it seems like there's always that kind of little connective thread with the two of them, and I really like that.
Rocket always says he's going to get that arm.
That's right. So Zemo comes out of jail and ends up taking them into his stash house. And he reveals to them what we know from the comics, that he is a baron and is from a very wealthy family. And he's got a bunch of cars that I was super jealous of.
A jet with a broken fridge.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, fix the fridge, bro. He has all these weapons stashed in all these fancy cars. And then, of course, the iconic purple mask, at least the MCU version, appears, right? And where are they off to on this private jet with the broken fridge, Gerald?
Madripoor.
To Madripoor. We've been waiting for it. We didn't have to wait long. Third episode, we're in Madripoor. And behind me is the MCU's take on Madripoor, and it was freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, it was amazing.
God, what the money that this company is spending on these episodes is nuts.
Yeah, especially I'm guessing, this isn't going to be the last time we see Madripoor. So, I mean, right. I'm sure they were like, just go ahead and spend the money because we're going to be using it more than once.
Yeah, definitely. I can see this city being revisited in this show and others, in movies and so on. It's gonna be a thing now.
I like how, from my video that I did with the rundown of Madripoor's history or whatever, it basically was like exactly what came out for the show. Like within 30 seconds of starting to talk about it, like, oh, it's a pirate port city. Oh, it's a high town. There's low town. There's this. There's that.
Right. Yeah. They stayed really true to the comics.
Yeah.
Very cool. I know when I heard them saying high town and low town, I was like, I just heard that somewhere. Maybe on Them Nerds. That's right. So we find out that the power broker is watching everything. Has kind of this like overlord feel. He's keeping track of everything that's going on in Madripoor. And Zemo makes an offer to his contact. What was her name? Selby?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. makes her an offer. Information, and you can have the Winter Soldier and the code words to make him be murder bot. And she goes for it. She thinks that's cool. But then poor Sam, he gets a phone call where his sister's yelling about Cheerios and threatening to beat her children.
He gets phone calls like how I get phone calls about my extended warranty on my car.
Oh my God, I would have laughed so hard if that's what the phone call would have been. We have been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. So we end up hearing something about a guy named Dr. Nagel, which, if you watched the video that I recently posted about Isaiah, Isaiah Bradley was experimented upon in a camp called Camp Cathcart by a mad scientist by the name of Dr. freaking Nagel. The connections keep on coming. Of course, the Nagel that we see is clearly a younger man and is not going to have that sort of longevity. At least we don't think.
Yeah.
We get to see a familiar face. Who pops up?
Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter. She appears, she punches, she kicks, she shoots, she stabs. She does all the things Agent 13 is expected to do. The one thing that she's not expected to do is be a dealer of stolen art.
Yeah, she explains how basically she didn't have it as easy as the rest of them before the blip or after the blip. She's had to do what she's had to do to survive.
Yeah, she seems like she's doing all right.
Yeah, maybe some anger issues, maybe.
Whatever. She's got top shelf whiskey and Van Goghs and her own private DJ, and
yeah, she has like club nights and stuff.
Yeah, she's living the dream. Come on now. So she leads. She's not real happy to see Zemo, but she helps Zemo and Sam and Bucky find Dr. Nagel. They go into Dr. Nagel's makeshift lab in this ocean liner container thingamajig, and they find out from him that he was able to recreate 20 vials of the super soldier serum that he recreated from the blood of an American super soldier who we are led to believe is Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah. Or so we think.
So we think. Yes, we're led to believe that. Remains to be seen. Zemo goes rogue, as supervillains are known to do. Grabs a gun, shoots Nagel, takes off. I don't know about you, but I assumed that was like his escape.
That's what I assumed also, yeah.
Right, like he was done. He's like, screw this, I'm out of here. But then they fight their way through everything. All of these bounty hunters are out there trying to kill Sharon to get to these boys. And Zemo comes out of nowhere and shoots a gas line and blows everything all to hell, and then gets a muscle car and picks them up, and off they go.
Full ski mask.
Yes, he had old purple on there. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. Zemo, I think, was my favorite part of this episode.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot. I mean, I just thought the whole episode was good. I mean, but I think that it's very similar to what we've been saying about all these shows so far. With plus is that you're giving characters who had very small amounts of screen time more of a story.
Right. Yeah, and he was. They barely scratched the surface on who Zemo is in the MCU in the films that we saw him in, but
yeah,
here we kind of see that we get to know about him being a baron and that he's wealthy, and we get to know this kind of personality that he has, where he's kind of snarky, kind of an a-hole. And he's not afraid to piss off Sam and Bucky with his little comments, and even though they literally hold his life in their hands, they could take him out at any second. I really enjoyed his contribution to this whole storyline. He kind of just fell in as one of the boys there for their little adventure.
Yeah, I think that might be the only thing that maybe was a little bit unorganic about the whole thing, is this idea that a guy who basically was utilizing you as a mass murderer. Now you guys are just like, hey, why don't you, hang out with us for a while? Yeah, you drive the car. You make us a
Yeah,
snack on the plane. This is the
sure.
guy I'm going to trust.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Bucky saw it as sort of an olive branch kind of thing. I mean, Steve and all the Avengers sort of forgave him somewhat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're just using him as a means to an end. But
Yeah.
and then we get another cutaway to John Walker and Lamar Hoskins um, in the prison in Germany, and they're kind of finding out that Sam and Bucky were there, uh, and Walker is not super into it. Hoskins doesn't believe it's necessarily true. Um, quote from John Walker that really kind of speaks to his character and the difference in his character compared to the original Cap. He says, "If we get the job done, do you think they'll care about how?" Right? He's talking about uh, doing some things that are less than above board.
Yeah. 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 That's I think that's the whole episode. That's kind of what the feeling was about this new Cap, is this idea that he's on the verge of, I don't know, it seems like he's like roiding out, like I've said a couple times, I mean, like his interactions, the very first thing he's in, he's seems a lot more angry, and he's
Yeah,
getting angrier as it goes.
right. He seemed like he was getting angrier, and also uh, every once in a while, and this is a cinematography thing, when he would be getting angry, I don't know if you noticed this, but like the camera seemed to blur a little bit, like, and kind of like whirl around him a little bit. And I think they're kind of foreshadowing that he's, going to be kind of off the
Ad or something.
rails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the since we're talking about Walker being a little unstable, I'm going to go back to the opening scene and the things that made me think like, I don't know about this guy. Um, when the cafe owner says, "Yeah, we don't know anything about her," and he gets like really in his face and growling. He's like, "Bullshit," right?
Yeah.
Like, we literally had like half a dozen movies where there were jokes about how Cap would be like chiding other people for their bad language,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
right? Uh, and you see when the cafe owner spits at him, he's like on the verge of just like stomping this guy out,
Yeah.
and he like kind of holds himself back at the last second. We're starting to see the dynamic that we talked about prior from the comics, where Battlestar kind of tries to temper U.S. agent, in this case, the new Captain America, John Walker. He tries to temper his outrage. He kind of tries to like ground him and be like, "Hey, man, like voice of reason a little bit."
Yeah. I also think that it's coming across like he is expecting, because he's wearing the costume now, that suddenly that comes with all the respect, and noticing that people aren't respecting him still.
Yeah, like nobody knows who you are, bro.
Yeah.
You're not Captain America. You're some scrub in a costume. He literally he looks like he's cosplaying Captain America.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like nobody there's like hardly anybody, especially in other countries, are gonna give you know any mind whatsoever to who this guy is and what he thinks he is.
I mean, it also does prove to the fandom who complain for several movies from different characters. Why don't keep their helmets on? Why don't you keep your helmet on? See what happens when you keep your helmet on for 3 episodes.
Look like the old man from Up wearing a wearing a helmet. And then we get a couple of little lead-ins to the next episode. Carly and her Flag Smasher crew. They're playing, good guy, freedom fighter, stealing food, playing Robin Hood, stealing food from the big bad international government to give to the little guy. But then she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna blow this place up. Not good.
Yeah, and with everybody inside of it.
Right. Yeah, and her compatriot there is like, there were people in there, and she's like, this is the only language they understand.
Yeah.
Yikes, yikes. She became a little bit less sympathetic there. So I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, the parallels. I mean, you were watching Walker become more and more angry as it's going along. She's actually been given the super serum, also that kind of explains the reason why she.
Right. Yeah, and you kind of and the she reveals to her buddy there that Nagel was killed, and that now she feels the power broker is going to come begging for the serum from them that they have left, that they have remaining.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I don't think the power broker is going to be begging for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's nice that she thinks that. And then the big end scene, we see Zemo, Sam, and Bucky heading to, I think they were meant to be heading to Latvia, or Riga, Latvia was where the Flag Smashers mentor, Donia Maria, or whatever her name was, where she died. And I think that's where they were headed, because Zemo was like, oh, I have a place we can stay. So they get there. Bucky says, oh, I'm going to go for a walk. What does he find on his walk, Jerry?
There's those Black Panther beads.
Ooh. And then?
Got the, I don't know. I'm not going to try to butcher the name of their bodyguards.
Dora Milaje?
Sure, why not?
A bald chick that likes to use a spear.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the elite military of Wakanda is revealed to be following the boys on their journey, and says, I am here for Zemo.
Which makes sense. I mean, I think that, obviously this is going to be something that would affect the Black Panther.
Right. So next episode, what do you think we'll see?
Well, I guess we're gonna see some Black Panther action.
One would think.
You're gonna. I have a sneaking feeling that Sharon Carter is not on the up and up.
Right. Well, we did get a little glimpse of her appearing to be a double agent of some kind.
I have come to the theory, in my opinion, that she's the power broker.
You heard it here first, folks. On them nerds, stamp it at, what time is it? 1:14 a.m. Pacific time. Jerry has claimed Sharon is the power broker.
If she's not the power broker, she's working for the power broker. But I think that it would explain a lot.
You know who I think she's working for, Jerry? Mephisto. Yeah, hey, you know what? I think it would be a great full circle kind of story for her character if she was the power broker.
Yeah.
If
she slid into the car and Dottie was in the passenger seat.
Dottie's the power broker.
Agatha's on the front.
Yeah, just a bunch of women riding around. Yeah, well, I think it would be cool for Sharon Carter to end up with that arc, because she went from being a trusted agent to being utterly powerless. So becoming the power broker would be kind of an interesting arc.
Especially, you think about the idea that she has these, priceless artwork and everything else. What are you getting for those pieces? I mean, or what are you giving, or what are you trading?
Right.
And she's obviously done, in a very dangerous city, she's done very well to be able to build up some kind of level of protection.
Right. Something isn't kosher there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see. Well, we both enjoyed episode 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier immensely. Can't wait for episode 4. That's the double-edged sword about these shows. They're so good, and then you finish it and you're like, all right, I'm ready for the next one, and you have to wait a week.
Yeah. I will say there is one thing, and I don't know if it was an Easter egg to fans or what, but we both noticed that they had put a X in a circle.
Yes.
On the gate.
Right on the gate. X in a circle.
Made sure to have the camera pointing right at it.
It was very X-Men.
Yeah.
Like there was no mistaking, like, oh, it's just like a letter X. Like it's an X in a circle with two contrasting colors. It was very X-Men.
Yeah, and that wasn't the only little hint there. You had the Princess Bar in Madripoor, which is a bar that Patch frequents, which Patch is Wolverine.
What's the over under Logan is the power broker?
Not even on.
No.
No.
The power broker has now become the Mephisto of this series.
I mean, I could imagine like if they were going to do something like that like the Hellfire Club could be the power broker, because the power broker doesn't have to be a person. It could be a group or a company, or like Oscorp kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like obviously Oscorp, there is a person that's centralized around it, but it's more about the corporation.
Yeah, and in the that there's source material in the comics that follows that theme, where the power broker is a person, but then there's the power broker organization.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, I enjoyed it. Glad we got to stay up and chop it up a little bit talking about it. It's a great show. Thanks for sticking with us tonight, nerds. Hope you enjoyed the show. What was your favorite part? What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget, we are giving away a Baron Zemo Funko Pop at the conclusion of this season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All you have to do to be entered to win is like, subscribe, comment, interact with us on social media at We Them Nerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you could be the lucky winner. That was my 1 a.m. Phone sex voice. Do you like it?
Yeah.
You could be the anyway. All right, guys, be good to each other. Later, nerds.
Stay nerdy.